Cannot be. So the domain of this is x plus 6 greater than 0. The domain of this is x plus 5 greater than 0. So this one is greater than -6, and this one is greater than -5. Don't make any conclusions just yet. So this one is -6 to infinity. That's green. And this is red, -5 to infinity. And I need green and red at the same time. Excellent. But is there a log here? Will I ever state a domain on 1? Right? Perfect. So then this is -5 to infinity. Now we condense the left-hand side. How do we condense it? It's log base 2 of say it again. What is the operation? I didn't hear.
Is it division?
No, because it's a, I think you said product, but I wasn't sure. So if you said divided, no, because it's not division, it's multiplication. So it must be x plus 6 times x plus 5 equals 1. Now this I will have to replace by an exponential equation. I didn't have to do it here. This was much easier. Why? Two logs are equal and they have the same base. These quantities have to be the same. There is no other way. But now, here, I have to change it into an exponential equation. Well, there are other methods too, but that's how we worked on this problem. We always start with the base and we go counterclockwise. So 2 to the first power equals this, but I will multiply it. I will FOIL it. So this is x squared plus 11x and plus 30. It's quadratic. I subtract 2 from both sides, and now you can do whatever you want. If you can factor quickly, factor. If not, Parati formula. It happens that this is easy to factor, not too difficult. Excellent. X plus 7, x plus 4. So it appears that we have -7 and -4. And again, you should say not so fast. Don't draw conclusions before you look. -5 to infinity. So yes, only -4. -7 is not in the common domain. It will not be accepted. Okay, so please choose the next one. Anything else you want.
So the solution set is -4?
Just -4, yes.
And like,
Yes?
would you want to assess solution set, so we write x equals -4?
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you to write that, but all I will write is just this. I'm sorry, 22. 22. Solve the system. Yes, Gauss-Jordan. And if you remember on the test I said, if you prefer elimination, I think Ella did elimination with back substitution. I was very happy to see that. She circled it, and she said, this is what I'm doing. And that's what she did. It's fine. Either one, I'm fine. But we have to learn the operations with rows in this class. They're mandatory. Okay, we do that? Yes? Very good. So we have, can I just write the augmented matrix already? No, I should write the system because I go back and check. X plus y plus z equals 0, x minus y minus z equals 2, x minus y plus z equals 4. Stop being lazy. It's for me. I have to go back and check. So 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, -1, -1, 2, 1, -1, 1, 4. So far, so good? Okay. Well, luckily, we have the 1. And we will multiply row 1 by to add it to row 2, and row 1 by to add it to row 3. Luckily, in this case, both of them are -1. We copy the first row. It's 1, 1, 1, 0. -1 times 1 is -1 plus 1 is 0. 1 times -1 is -1 minus 1 is -2. 1 times -1 is -1 minus 1 is -2. 0 times -1 is 0 plus 2 is 2. Is this step understood? Okay, the next one. 1 times -1 plus 1 is 0. 1 times -1, -1 minus 1, -2. 1 times -1, -1 plus 1 is 0. 0 times -1 is 0 plus 4 is 4. This is done. Where am I next? Right here in the middle. I need what?
Divided by row 2 by -1.
Very good, by -2. Why am I dividing by -2? Because I want what? 1 in the middle. That's the key. Very good. I copy everything except row 2. -2 divided by -2. -2 divided by -2. 2 divided by -2. That's it. Now this will enable us to get the corresponding zeros. What do I multiply row 2 by and add it to row 1, and row 2 by and add it to row 3? Here I want to eliminate a 1, so I will multiply by, excellent. Here I want to eliminate a -2, so then I will multiply by, excellent. This weekend, again, like I've been begging you for a long time, please redo all 3 tests with solutions as many times as you need till you say, I'm ready. This is what I would do, all of them. We have 3 tests, we have solutions, and redo all of them. Okay, please. Okay, so then I copy which row now because I'm using it, and that one will not change at this point. Row 2, very good. 0, 1, 1, -1. Or of course 1 and 0. If I change these, I'm in big trouble. Okay, 1 times -1 plus 1. As you see, I don't even address that. That is carved in stone now. I'm not going back. So 1 times -1 plus 1. Perfect. 1 times -1 plus 1. -1 times -1 plus 0. -1 times -1 plus 0. Very good. Is that clear? 1 times 2 minus 2. Excellent. 1 times 2 plus 0. Very good. -1 times 2 plus 4. Excellent. So now all these are done. Where am I now and what am I doing?
2 in the third.
Yes, so I have row 3 to divide by 2. What do I have? And very good. So I only need to eliminate this. Everything else is done. So I'm multiplying row 3 by to add it to row 2. By what? That's it. And that's the final step. I copy and the top. 1 times -1 plus 1. Excellent. 1 times -1 minus 1. That's it. So the solution, I have no clue, but it appears to be good. 1, -2, 1. 1, -2, 1. 1, -2, 1. 1, -2, 1. 1 minus 2 plus 1. Check. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. Check. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Check. And I don't need anyone to say anything because I know this is the only one and the correct one. Anything else? Number 1?
Yeah.
Yes. Number 1. Number 1 is 3 over x plus 5 plus 2 over x minus 3 minus 16 over x plus 5 x minus 3 equals 0. So I always recommend, please state the restrictions. If you don't, you may make a mistake by considering a solution that is not the correct solution. It's the extraneous solution. So I highly recommend that. If you don't write the restrictions, you have to make a mental note saying, this is a rational equation, I have to go back and check. I think it's easier if you write the restrictions, but it's up to you. I accept any method. So then the least common denominator obviously is x plus 5 and x minus 3, all different factors we see. Careful, don't forget the equal symbol and 0 as we discussed, because if you do, then you're not solving. You're just looking at an expression. What do I multiply the top of the first fraction by? It has to be x minus 3 because it doesn't have it. So we have to multiply top and bottom by the same thing. What do we multiply the top of the second one by?
X plus 5.
Right, because it does not have. What do we multiply the top of the third one by? Exactly, or nothing. It's up to you, one or the other. So now, can anyone dictate the top? Well, remember you have to distribute 3, so we get 3x minus 9. And then plus 2x plus 10. Agreed? And then minus 16. I combine like terms. I get 5x. So this is negative 6 with minus 9 is negative 15. And divide by x plus 5, x minus 3. Do not forget 0 over 1, because now we are ready to cross multiply. And this is 5x minus 15 equals 0, or x equals 3.
Wait, once you get negative 60, if you multiply by a positive number, like 60 times 1. Oh, it's a negative. Oh, okay. Got it. I got it.
That's okay. So, say it again.
3x minus
3x plus 2x, 5x.
Oh, okay.
And then this is negative 6 minus 9 is negative 15. And now this is a proportion across multiply, and I get this. And I'll say no solutions, because it's among the restrictions. It will make 2 out of those 3 fractions. What? If I plug in 3. 2 of those 3 fractions will become undefined. That's the problem. 0, it's okay. But the problem is undefined. Anything else? Yes, of course. So 7 is a piecewise defined function, very important.
Number what, 7?
Number 7, yes. We're looking at number 7. And we have f of x equals 1/2 x squared for less than 3, and 3x minus 4 for greater than or equal to 3. Every time we're asked to graph a function, we want to find its domain. And if you remember, this is nothing else but negative infinity to 3. And this is, you don't have to cross it out, I'm just making a point. And this is 3 to infinity. It appears that the domain is negative infinity to infinity. 0 must be in the table, and definitely this point must be in the table. With these, if you're using this method, if you have a different method, I'm fine. So I have to have a left parenthesis and a right bracket. Why do I use these symbols? Because they will signify that 3 comma this point, 3 comma this value will be a full point, and 3 comma this value will not. Now, if they are the same, if I get here 5 and 5, then it's a full point and it's done. But this will be a full point because it has the bracket, and this will be an open point. So this less than 3 is 1/2 x squared. And this for x greater than 3, I use 3x minus 4. So when I plug in 0, I get 0. When I plug in 3, that's ugly. It's 9/2. I should also plug in 2 because 2 squared is 4. 4 divided by 2 will be 2. The same thing on the other side as -2 is still 2. Now on the right I have 9 minus 4, which is 5. So this indeed will be a full point, 3 comma 5, but 3 comma 9/2 it will not. And I'm also going to use 4. That's 12 minus 4, which is 8. And that's good enough. I don't need more points. That's more than enough, actually. So I know how to graph this. It's a quadratic function opening upward, right, with a positive leading coefficient. So at -2, 2, at 0, 0, at 2, 2, and at 3 is 4.5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 4.5. And it's an open point. And this is the graph. If you remember transformations, right? It's a vertical stretching of x squared by a factor of 1/2. A vertical shrinking, I'm sorry, by a factor of 1/2. Then I have 3 comma 5 and 4 comma 8. So I'm going to say somewhere here. So this is the graph. Vertical shrinking by a factor of 1/2 on the left, and just a line on the right of 3.
And the range is
All real numbers because this side goes to infinity and it covers everything.
the domain.
So the range will be,
is
the domain is all real numbers, but the range will be from 0 to infinity. The range, 0 to infinity. But there is no gap here because on this side it goes on forever. That's all I meant to say. So it is from 0 to infinity. I did not write your final exam. There's no secret. When I'm going to start writing it, I'm going to look at the previous 3 tests. I'm going to pick and choose. About 25% from the first, about the 33% from the first test, about 33% from the second, about 33% from the third. Nothing new, everything what we covered.
So questions straight from the test.
Yes. So the test is not going to have more than 20 questions, 21 questions, but some of them may have part A and part B. So about roughly 777. So let's discuss pretty, just an idea. For example, what you're going to have from this past test. Something about sequences, right, that we had. I'm just looking through the test, right? So you're going to have something from exponentials and logs, right? Either a graph or something about a word problem, condensing, expanding, and equations. There is nothing else. Yeah. So it's basically what we had. I don't know if I have, let me see. Yeah, I have the solutions right here. So I can point that out to you. Well, I lied. I only have the key for bonus. Solutions for the bonus. Where is my... So I can show it to you. Oh, I found it. Okay, so from this test, what should you expect? You know, a graph. Not more than 7, right? Questions. Something like this where you plug in. From test 3, yeah, I'm going backwards, you're right. So something like this with plugging in and drawing a conclusion. I was expecting to see few of you did this very nicely. But I didn't want you to just look at the calculator and plug in a number and say, oh, it's 4 weeks. No, 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 that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for setting the function equal to 30 and solving for x. I wasn't interested in just plugging in something or looking at numbers.
I knew, because we did something like that
Yeah.
on the review thing, but like when I was looking at the question, I just didn't connect it to
Okay, that's okay. So now you know, right? So I also will look at what your test grade is versus from test 3, for example, versus how you perform on that section of the final exam. So right now, let's say somebody has a 60% on this test. I'm just giving an example, and does very well from that portion of the final. Then I will consider giving extra points on test 3 grade. But you have to put the effort in between now and Wednesday. You can do this. You have so many examples of everything. Is that clear? So I'm more than willing to boost up your grades. I will never decrease anything, of course. But please redo these 3 tests diligently several times. One time and say, oh, I got it. It's not enough because, as you know, the problems are different. If you change a little bit the sign or put plus instead of minus, in other words, it's log of a product. It's not log of a ratio anymore. Okay? So something like this, condensing, expanding, and a log exponential equation. And that's about it. That's pretty much it, right? Then you're going to have a system to solve. Now, I was surprised to see not everyone remember that this is a circle. Some of you just graphed 2 lines. Well, this is a circle, right? So please review this carefully. So you're going to have a problem like this, and again, only 7 to 8 problems I can choose from each set, right? So one problem with determining terms of a sequence. So I'm going to choose 7 problems from here. 7 from test 2, 7 to 8 at the most, and 7 to 8 from test 1. So that was just an example.